Hello, everyone. I am Sean, and welcome once again to my Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you tuning in today and listening to me for a little bit talk about horror movies. Today, we're talking about an interesting one 2004's The Grudge. Uh, I saw this movie, I did not see this movie in theaters when it came out. This is not typically my type of movie. You know, if you've watched my channel very much or you know me, you know I'm a slasher guy. Um, a lot of the ghost movies, possession movies, supernatural movies, that kind of thing. There's some that I think are okay, but overall, I'm just it's not my go-to. So I didn't see this one in theaters, but I did see it later on. Probably rented it from Blockbuster or something like that. Maybe watched it on something else. Who knows? Uh, yeah, I don't recall. Anyway, I watched it the first time, and I remember just from like the trailer initially. Of course, everybody remembers. I think the scene where Sarah Michelle Gellar is in the shower and we see the hand coming out of the back of her head. I remember that scene being kind of, I thought was creepy in the trailer, and so looking forward to watching the movie at some point. And so yeah, finally did. And the first time I saw it, I think I thought it was okay, but kind of odd, and just wasn't really completely sure what I thought. Haven't rewatched it since. Thought about it multiple times. Planned on going back and rewatching it eventually, but it finally came up for me to do this YouTube video on it. So I watched it the other day. I don't own this movie. I would like to. So that tells you right off the bat that I don't think it's terrible. But yeah, I would like to own it. I just don't. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it, and we'll talk about my opinion and my thoughts on The Grudge. Excuse me. I've got to get a better recording schedule down. The other day I recorded like early in the morning, and now I'm recording late at night. I've got to get some kind of consistency going on here. But The Grudge from 2004 tagline: "It never forgives, it never forgets." Brief synopsis for the film: an American nurse living and working in Tokyo is exposed to a mysterious supernatural curse, one that locks a person in a powerful rage before claiming their life and spreading to another victim. The film was released October 22nd of 2004, directed by Takashi Shimizu, I believe is how you say it. Screenplay by Steven Sisko, based on Takashi's Japanese horror film Ju-on, The Grudge. A runtime of 91 minutes, budget of $10 million, box office of 187.3 million, so incredibly successful at the box office. Cast for the film: Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jason Behr, Katie Strickland, Clea Duvall, Bill Pullman. Stacked cast. We'll stop there and go ahead and talk for a moment about the cast and these characters. Uh, First of all, this is an amazing cast. You know, I'm a huge Sarah Michelle Gellar fan. Absolutely love almost anything she's in. So right off the bat, we've got that. But everybody in this movie, Clea Duvall, Bill Pullman, everybody I think does an outstanding job. Really good performances in this film. Very impressed with that. I don't remember that being, I mentioned the first time I watched the film, I wasn't sure what I thought about it. I don't remember that being an issue ever, but I was just really impressed watching this again yesterday to prepare for this today with this cast and just how well everybody performed. So I think the performances are top notch, very solid in this film. As far as the characters, we finally, I've been in the street for a little bit. I was talking about where I was having to talk about a bunch of movies with characters that I wasn't really into. That finally stopped here with this one. Again, maybe just because it's Sarah Michelle Gellar, I don't know, but I really liked her character. But there were a few characters in this movie. I don't feel like we get a lot of time with characters because one thing that this movie goes back and forth, right? This movie does not lay out chronologically for us. We do a lot of things and then we go back and see it from different perspectives, these same events from different perspectives of different people. I like it when movies do that. I didn't used to, but I really do like that now. Weapons did it last year, and Weapons was my favorite movie of the year. I really like it when movies take this and we get these kind of same scenarios but from different perspectives. I'm a huge fan of that. I really like it when films do things like that. So, but in doing so, because we kind of bounce around a lot and we're looking at different perspectives, there's a lot of characters in this film that we don't get a lot of time with. But I think we get enough to know what we think. It's not one where there's nothing, and some of them pop up at different times, right, in each other's story. And again, the movie doesn't play out chronologically. We'll talk about that when we get into the plot here a little bit. Please forgive me. Um, but yeah, I think we get just enough time with these characters. There's not too much backstory. There's not too much information, but we're not just left where we don't get enough to care about any of them either. And there's, I like the characters in this film, most of them, honestly. So love the cast, like the characters. The cinematography, I think this movie looks good. I think we get some really good shots in this film. I like the setting, this little house that they're in, and in Japan. Yeah, I think the movie's shot well. It's not too bright. Sometimes I feel like, especially nowadays, horror movies are a little bit too bright and too colorful, which that works depending on the type of movie that you're doing. But for something like this that's kind of dark and ominous, I feel like this movie kind of has a dark tone to it as well, and I think it looks good. I like that. Um, the score, I think it's okay. It's fine. It doesn't jump out at me again as being amazing, but it does what it needs to do. It's good in certain parts of the film, so the score is good. And then the story, again, this is not typically a story or a type of movie that I would be really intrigued by, but it caught my attention. I like the way it played out. Um, I I like the fact that I don't think every horror movie needs a happy ending, and with this one we're kind of left with the idea that it's not necessarily a happy ending, that it's not over, and I kind of like that. Sometimes those dark endings, or at least endings that leave you wondering or leave you hanging, like, oh no, what's next? That kind of thing. I think are good. And yes, there are sequels to this movie, but we're not talking about them right now. Um, so yeah, I like the story as well. It caught my attention. I think this movie is paced very well. Again, it's only about an hour and a half long, but I think the pacing is good. I didn't. Sometimes these type of movies I get bored with a little bit and kind of lose interest here and there. That did not happen to me the other night watching this. I think it happened to me the first time I watched the film, and that's why I wasn't sure what I thought about it. But it did not happen yesterday when I watched this movie. So I like the story as well. I think the pacing is good. The effects are good. Yeah, I'm fully on board with all of those things in this film. Production notes, not really much out there for this as far as production notes for this film. I mean, I've already mentioned that this is a remake of Takashi Shimizu's 2002 Japanese horror film. Sam Raimi was the producer on this film. He produced it through his Ghost House Picture Studio. That's really all I got. There was just not a lot of fun facts or production notes or whatever you want to call them out there for this film. So let's go ahead and jump right into the walkthrough and start talking about this movie. I'm going to get a drink real quick first. All right. So we open up with a lot of words on the screen. We get to read several things that are kind of laying out this curse for us. It says, when someone dies in the grip of a powerful rage, a curse is born. The curse gathers in that place of death, and those who encounter it will be consumed by its fury. Um, and then we meet Peter, who's played by Bill Pullman. We see him getting out of bed with his wife, and then he goes and just basically throws himself off a ledge, committing suicide, and that's the opening to the film. Um, Let me start with all these words on the screen. That's fine. I mean, movies do that sometimes. It's okay. I don't necessarily like it or dislike it. I thought there was a lot here. We almost got like a whole story. It felt like playing out here rather than just a couple of quotes. But there is one thing that confuses me a little bit, or it was confusing me yesterday. Going back and reading it now, I somewhat get it, but we'll get into that a little bit more with one particular character here in just a little while. Um, and then the scene where I did not expect Bill Pullman, fairly big star. I did not expect the first time I saw this movie for him to commit suicide at the beginning of the film. I was just like, oh shit, wow, right off the bat, we're going to take somebody big and take him out. So I thought that was a good way to open the film, though. So I like this opening as well. From there, we meet Yoko, a healthcare worker. She is taking care of an elderly woman named Emma who has dementia. While they're with her in this home, Yoko hears some noises up in the attic, and then as she starts to go up into the attic, we see her drawn away by this ghostly-looking woman. We then meet Karen, who is Sarah Michelle Gellar, and her boyfriend, because the healthcare facility and the family are under the assumption that Yoko just didn't show up. And so Karen then gets assigned to Emma. She goes to the house. She also hears some noises. She finds this room that's all taped up. As she kind of untapes this and goes into this room, she sees a young boy and a cat. Um, There's some odd moments around the house, some kind of creepy things happening. Emma's acting very strange there with Kara, and then we see this spirit of the same girl that we saw pull Yoko up into the attic. We see the spirit descending from the ceiling down upon Emma. Um, we'll stop there for just a moment. I like this scene. Again, this movie pulled me in pretty quickly, and that's saying something for this type of film because, again, these are not normally my types of movies, but I like this as well. I thought that the ghostly spirit girl here looks very creepy. Um, Yoko doesn't last long, and then we get Sarah Michelle Gellar. And again, the pacing of this movie is so good because right off the bat, Sarah Michelle Gellar is now into this situation, and it's not like she's in there for a long time, and then later something happens, which is a mistake that sometimes these kind of movies make. Immediately as she gets in and gets to know Emma and starts trying to clean the house up a little bit, then boom, something happens right in front of her as well. So I really love the pacing of this film and the fact that it keeps you entertained and it's creepy. This is a creepy movie. I found myself, even though I'd only seen it once and I had forgot some things, but I a little bit know what to expect. And of course, I've heard about the film and I've heard other people talk about the film, so I know what's coming for the most part. But at the same time, I still feel that creepy presence watching this movie, which I also like as well. We then go back in time again, and we meet the Williams family. The husband, Matt, his wife, Jennifer, Emma is Matt's mother that we've seen in this film. We see them moving into this home where these things have happened now. Obviously, they didn't know that was coming, but we also there's a real estate agent there that's trying to sell them the home. There's a quick scene where he goes into the bathroom and he sees a child in the bathtub. Jennifer, then the mother, she starts hearing noises at night and is having a hard time adjusting to life in Japan. Um, I don't think this drags either. I almost see where some people might think this is the part where the movie starts to slow down a little bit, but I think it's just enough about Jennifer, in my opinion. It's not too much. It doesn't slow down too much. It's just enough, and so I'm fine with this. Um, Back in her home, then Jennifer, she sees these arms as she hears a noise and she starts to go up these steps. She sees these arms come around the corner and take the cat. She starts looking around, and um, then we see Matt end up coming home. The house is a complete mess. He finds Jennifer. She's in this odd trance, and then he sees this young boy that later, that we know that Karen had seen, and then he also sees the same cat. And then, Matt and Jennifer are both just kind of taken by the spirit as well. We don't know exactly what happens to them yet. We just know something has happened to them. Again, good tension here, kind of an eerie, creepy thing going on. Not too much, good pacing. I'm still fully on board and was really enjoying my rewatch of this movie last night. We then cut to Alex. He is the healthcare boss, so he was Yoko's boss and Karen's boss. He goes to the home and he ends up finding Emma dead. He finds Karen kind of in a state of shock. The police end up arriving. They talk with Alice about what's going on. The police end up finding Matt and Jennifer's bodies in the attic. They also find the remains, like the lower jaw of a human, so they know something really odd and creepy is going on here. Karen then wakes up in the hospital. She talks with her boyfriend a little bit. She knows there's something wrong with this house. She also talks to the police. And we kind of then see a couple of police officers talking a little bit, and they're talking about that this was the first family that had moved into this house since the incident that happened 3 years ago. So now we're starting to get some backstory. We're getting a hint that something happened quite some time ago, or 3 years ago, that has maybe led up to all of these things. And again, I keep saying it here, but I think one of the best things about this movie is how well it's paced, because as some of these things start to unfold and we get different things happening and now bodies are starting to be found, we're starting to get some story. We're starting to find out maybe what is responsible, or we're not finding out what is responsible, but we're getting down the path now to learn what is responsible. I think the pacing is so good and the performances are so strong, and it does have that creepy feeling. So at this point here, I'm still fully on board and really enjoying this movie much more than I did the first time I watched it, and much more than I expected to. Um, we then cut to Susan, who is Matt's sister. She is at work. She gets a phone call that's got weird noises going on. We hear, I can't make the noise, or I would, but that this grudge spirit seems to make. Um, she kind of gets freaked out a little bit. She goes to a security guard. uh, she sees this girl's spirit that we've seen taking people, and so she gets to a security guard. He goes to kind of look around, but then she sees the spirit again on camera. She leaves and goes home, and then she gets a phone call from Matt that he's there. And then when she goes to open the door and let him in, he's gone. He's not there. But we do see um, there's a scene where she's kind of looking around, wondering, Matt was just here, where'd he go? And we kind of see this little boy in an elevator that we've seen a couple times throughout the film. Um, yeah, so she's having a hard time. Finally, she ends up she goes back in her apartment, and she ends up getting attacked and laying there in bed by this girl spirit thing, and she ends up basically just vanishing. Here's the one question I have about the film, and as I went back and reread the quote a while ago, maybe I understand it better than I thought I did. But when I was watching the movie, I was under the impression that because something horrible happened in this house, this spirit is there. And as the quotes are telling us, that this mysterious supernatural curse um, gets attached to like a place, and it locks this person in this rage, and then once it finishes with them, it gets somebody else. So the spirit is attached to this house because of what took place there. And so far, everybody that we've seen, I take that back. I just almost answered one of my own questions while I'm talking about it. I was sitting here and I'm like, so far everybody we've seen is dying in the house, but that's not the case because Bill Pullman's character committed suicide there in the beginning of the film. So I just answered my own question. What I was trying to figure out, and just got it myself here, is that I thought the spirit was attached more to the house. So I wondered how it ended up at Susan's job, how it didn't, went to Susan's apartment. That was throwing me off a little bit, but I guess I just wasn't thinking about the fact that Bill Pullman wasn't in the house when he committed suicide either. So the spirit's not, it may be dwelling in the house, but it does go elsewhere as well. So yeah, I just answered my own question there. Sorry about that. That was me figuring shit out. But yeah, I like this scene too. I like the fact that her body just vanishes when she gets attacked, and again, it's another creepy scene. So again, really enjoying this. We then go back to Karen and her boyfriend Doug. We get the shower scene that I talked about from the preview, where the hand comes out of the back of her head. Fantastic scene. Looks great. It's shot well, but the effects look really good. I think here it's very creepy. I love this scene still. Within Alex, we talked about him earlier. He ends up getting killed by jawless Yoko. So we find out that jaw that the police found there in the attic, what the hell, was belonged to Yoko. Yoko ends up killing Alex. Karen starts doing research on this house, and she learns backstory then that there was a father who killed his wife and son there. The police, I guess he's a chief or he's a detective or something, is watching footage. And so he also, another thing that I like in this movie that it does differently is, again, a lot of times in these ghost films, when something seems to happen on camera and then somebody else goes back to watch it, they don't see anything. I liked the fact that he saw it. When he went back and watched the footage, he was seeing the spirit as well, when he was watching footage from her job and that kind of thing. Karen ends up going to see Peter, Bill Pullman's character, who committed suicide, going to see his wife, and she mentions Kayoko, I believe is how you say it, and then we kind of get more of our backstory. We find out that Kayoko was a student of Peter's, that she was kind of obsessed with him. There's hints that maybe they had an affair, but I don't think that's ever spelled out very clearly. I don't know if they had an affair or if she was just really obsessed with him, but that her husband felt like she was probably having an affair with Peter. Karen ends up talking to the police again. We find out that 3 officers died or disappeared when they were investigating the murders of this house. And the police guy tells Karen about the curse. And then he gives her the rest of the story that Teiko, I'm not sure how you say his name, Keiko's husband ended up killing her and their son and their cat when he thought that Keiko was having an affair with Peter. Karen ends up going home, and she wants to talk to her boyfriend, but she finds out that he's gone, and she realizes he's gone to this house to look for her, so she freaks out. She sees a brief vision of Peter. She goes to the house. She sees like a vision of Peter in the house. I didn't totally understand that scene. It's more like she's seeing what happened, and we know that at one point Peter had gone there as well, and I guess that's how the spirit got attached to him. But we learned that again, not only did this, again, I wish I knew how to say his name, Takeo, or however you say it there, that he killed his wife, he killed his son, killed the cat, but then afterwards, her ghost, Keiko's ghost, ended up hanging him by using her hair. She pulled him up and hanging, and her hair plays a big part in a lot of these scenes that we've seen. Karen ends up finding Doug, but he seems to be wounded. Uh, and then while she's there with him, then Keiko comes down the stairs, kills Doug, goes after Karen, but she is able to uh, light some gasoline that's there and cause this big fire. And then she wakes up in the hospital. From when she wakes up in the hospital, she goes to visit Doug's body. And then we kind of get another glimpse that she's still being haunted by Keiko, and that's the end of the film. So, kind of wrapped it all up there at the end rather quickly. But um, I think the movie does slow down just a little bit here. Praised the performances, I praised the pacing. I think once they reveal the backstory and once they reveal what happened, we still get a good scene there in the home of where now this thing is after Karen again, and her boyfriend gets killed, and there's some things going on. I think this is still, we still get this good scene. There's still some eeriness and that type of thing there, but there, in this moment where she's doing her research and she goes home and she finds out that Doug is gone and that he's gone to the house, and she gets the vision of Peter, it does drag just a little bit here in these few moments. It kind of slows down. um, I feel like a little bit there until we get back to the very end of the film. So I can see there maybe some people having a few issues with it, but overall, I think this film is incredible. I'm shocked at how much I enjoyed this movie. I'm not going to tell you it's excellent. It's still not my type of film, so it's not like something I'm going to give a 9 or a 10 to. But for the type of movie that it is, it's probably one of my favorites from this style of film. I think it's really good. Again, pacing overall is outstanding. Just a couple of moments maybe here and there. The performances are so solid. The story's good. It's very creepy. It's very eerie. Um, yeah, I just think everything is done very, very well. And so, again, it's not an excellent movie because it's not the kind of thing that I'm going to throw in and watch all the time. But I did really enjoy it. And so for me, on my scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give The Grudge a 7.5. I thought this was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. And again, for this type of movie, it's probably one of my favorites. So I enjoyed The Grudge, 7.5 out of 10. Now I want to know what you think. I'm sure most people have probably seen this movie. Again, it came out back in like 2004. So if you've seen this one, let me know your thoughts on The Grudge. Do you enjoy it as much as I do? Do you think it's paced well? Do you like the performances? Do you like the story? Do you think it's still creepy? Does it still hold up for you? Give me your thoughts on The Grudge. I love the interaction. I love reading the comments and hearing what other people think about this film as well. So definitely chime in and let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Sorry, I was grabbing my calendar here. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I've got more fun episodes coming up. In just a couple of days, I'm going to be back with a episode on Insidious. That was actually a request. Somebody had asked me to do that film, and I haven't, I keep telling people if there's movies that they would like to hear me talk about to mention it. A couple of things have been mentioned here and there, and I've got them on my calendar and know they're coming up. But this one, somebody mentioned it, and I'm like, sure, why not? So I'm going to be talking about Insidious. I'm also going to be talking next week about Get Out. Haven't reviewed that one. I've only seen that film one time, so that's coming up. I believe sometime in about a week or so, Rob and Kaylee from That Horror Couple are going to be back with me. It's been a while since I've had them on, but they're going to come back, and we're going to be talking about Friday the 13th, the final chapter. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming. Brendan from Our Life in Horror is going to be on with me a couple more times this month to talk about a couple more Candyman films and wrap that franchise up. Mike from Mike and Serial is coming back to talk Terrifier 3. Yeah, just a lot of fun stuff coming. So subscribe so you don't miss anything. Again, leave me some comments today and let me know what you think about this movie. Hit the like button for me, hit the hype button for me, share the video, follow me on social media. I'm pretty much on everything out there: Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, X, TikTok. I have a letterbox. Just search Sean's Horror Corner. You'll be able to find all of it. Thank you so much for watching again. Like I said, subscribe, like, hype, comment, share, follow, do all the things, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.